Hey, good morning or good afternoon or good evening. I'm not sure what time it is that you're going to be watching this, but I'm Miss Therese and we're going to be doing some more drawing. I'm going to redo the first video we did a long time ago, and thanks to my son Luke, who's a professional videographer and photographer, this will be, I think, better than the first one. We're going to use pencils. And then you guys know how I feel about erasers, those of you that have been students of mine. But we're going to do some fun things with erasers. We'll talk a little bit more about that. The fun thing, when you don't have an eraser, it gives you a chance to really plan your line. And then if you don't like your drawing, you can just start over again. I have and I know you guys have heard this before, my Ferrari pencil sharpener, and I think it's plugged in this time. Uh-oh. No. I plugged it in, and there's nothing better than a really, really sharp pencil. But anyway, I am going to use a pencil with an eraser because we might do some fun things with the eraser. So we are going to get started. All you're going to need is white paper. If you don't have any, go to your recycle bin and cut open some old envelopes. We've done that before. It can be scrap paper. It doesn't have to be formal because we're just going to have a lot of fun just working on techniques. We're going to start in on scribble trees, and I know we've done this in our very first video, but we're going to kind of redo it. And I know there's some of you that have not seen this before, so we're just going to have some fun with it and work with scribbles. Scribbles can be so productive, so we're going to start. Take your pencil on any place on your white paper. Again, we're not going to do a drawing today, necessarily a formal drawing. We're just going to do some practicing. And give yourself a couple of different lengths of line. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And then again, I like to turn my paper sometimes when I'm working because sometimes it's a little bit easier, and you don't have to, but if you find that when you're doing a different angle with your pencil and it's easier to turn, go ahead and do that. So these are scribble trees, and I owe a nod of recognition to Bruce Edwards, who used to teach at our school. He brought this to our school, and Bruce, thank you, I'm stealing these from you. So you can do big scribble trees. You might have some fun seeing how tiny you could make those scribble trees. You could see how teeny, teeny, tiny you could make those trees. So you can practice doing that. You can do a picture with these kind of scribble trees too if you want. You can do a bunch of them. And again, this is our practice area, like this. And then again, I'm turning my paper. You don't have to. This just works well for me. You may find your own self. And you're going to find that your scribbles don't look like mine. They're going to be unique, and they're probably going to be even better. So I made a little forest, and I'm going to put a little hill, just using a little line behind it. I'm going to put a little hill behind it. And notice I don't have the trees coming directly out of the line. I've got them actually kind of coming out of the hill. We did this in the oil pastel. I'm going to have some wind maybe blowing around my hill a little bit. And oh my gosh, what time of year could it possibly be if we're doing little teeny tiny O's? I think it looks like it's snowing. And sometimes when that air is super cold, it almost sparkles. So you could put some little sparkly things in there to make that air extra cold. So there's like a little winter scene. That's something that you could do. You could turn this into a card and give it to somebody, or you could just have fun with it with yourself. So that's one kind of scribble tree. Now, I like to use my paper, so I'm going to turn it over. One of the things I've been forgetting to remind you about is to put your name on your paper, and you could put the date, or you could put your initials. And this way, first off, everybody's going to know who did the drawing. Secondly, in case years from now you have kids and you decide you want to show some of the drawings you did when you were a kid to your kids, you can say, oh my gosh, I did this when I was your age. I've started in on our second group of scribble trees. These are Y trees, and what you do with that is, I know it looks a little complicated, but you draw like a Y, and then you just keep Y'ing them out. Kind of like using the alphabet to do something. And we're going to do a little bit more with that too. I might make my trunk a little thicker. You don't have to, it's just if you want to. Okay, and I'm going to put, like I did with the other one, I'm going to put a little background in here so my trees have a place to grow out of. And this is a different kind of scribble. This is sort of a round and round and round kind of thing. And this could be spring, it could be fall, it could be summer. Maybe these trees haven't lost their leaves yet. You know, when we were doing the leaf video, those kind of leaves come from deciduous trees. Those kind of leaves are the ones that grow that beautiful spring green, turn into the beautiful darker summer green, and then in the fall turn colors. And then the leaves shed themselves from the tree and grow back again. That's a deciduous tree. And so I think these are kind of like little deciduous trees. Other trees are evergreens, which we're going to kind of do in just a minute. But just kind of have fun with scribbling around. This is something too, you might get your parents or maybe any grown-up that you're around and see if you can teach them a little bit about how cool scribbles are. So those are my scribble trees. You know what, I could just come down here. It's another little technique. And you just take your pencil and you put it down and you just sort of push it away. And I'm making some grass here. And oh my gosh, what if I had some little bugs sort of flying around? I can do a dot like that with some little wings. Kind of like the summertime. My little bugs are just flying around, or little bees. So there you go. I've even seen some of my students put like a nest in the tree. So that's our second kind of scribble tree. Now, I'm going to hang on to that, and we're going to do another kind of scribble tree. This will be an evergreen tree. We have lots of cedars and Douglas firs here and hemlocks, and so I was kind of looking at those trees. And so what we're going to do, we're going to start again, same thing. We're going to do a nice line like this. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Okay, you could make that trunk a little bit bigger as it gets towards the bottom. A couple of my students call these mustache trees, and here's why. What you're going to do is you're going to kind of do sort of a back and forth scribble and press hard and let up, press hard and let up. Trees get smaller towards the top, as I think you all know. Branches can get bigger as they get to the lower part of the tree. It kind of does look sort of like mustaches, doesn't it? And I can kind of fill in the background there. Again, and you just press down and let up, or start light and press down. And the more you do this, the better practice you're going to get, or the more practice you're going to get, the better you're going to get at it. So there's kind of like a mustache tree, and that looks like, it could be a cedar tree or a Douglas fir tree. The boughs kind of go down and then kind of go up again. And we'll try a couple more here. Just have fun with it. Again, it's just a little kind of up and down motion. And fill in your trees. This tree could be maybe one, sometimes you see this in the forest where the trees are growing kind of close together and the branches are way up in the tree. And just one more for the fun of it. And again, these could be a cedar or a Douglas fir or even a hemlock. But it's just kind of fun. You know, sometimes your hand can get tired from doing this, and that's okay. I've always thought that to a certain degree, drawing is a little bit like an eye-hand coordination kind of thing, of course, kind of like an athletic event. Alrighty, there's our evergreen or our mustache trees and a third kind of scribble tree. So I sure hope that you enjoy this. So here's some different ways to use your pencil. This might be kind of fun. My pencil's getting to the point where it might need to be sharpened again. And if you don't have an electric pencil sharpener, even a plain old hand cranked pencil sharpener is fine, or one of those little ones. So lots of times people hold their pencils like they hold their pencil for writing, and that's one way for you to hold your pencil. And I'm just going to do sort of here just some sort of fill in things here. Just sort of practicing holding my pencil like this. I can cross hatch it like this to get a darker result. Right now what we're doing is we're just sort of experimenting. You can also, actually there's no right or wrong way to hold your pencil. You can also hold your pencil like this to get a different effect. See how that works? Kind of fun like that. So you can practice it with that way, practice with it like that. And then you can do some things where you, or just, back to like a plain line. And look at all the different things that we did with the pencil. We could even do something, I'm going to go back to holding it like this. I could even have fun and kind of do like a wavy line like that. So try to spend a little bit of time just practicing with your pencil. You can also, this is called stippling. My students always like to do this because it sort of makes a racket in the classroom. But this is where you're just doing little teeny tiny dots, and you can kind of keep doing that. This could be a shade thing. It could be a different way of filling in space. And then like we did with the grass, little things like this. And we're going to repeat this when we get around to painting, some of the kind of the same thing. Or just plain little dots like that. All of this here that we've just done is just some practicing so that you can kind of learn what your pencil can do, and so that you can become a little bit more proficient. There's a big word for being like better at it. And so this is just, again, a little exercise in practicing with our pencil. And there's a lot we can do that way. I also can take my finger, like we did with the oil pastels, and I can also blend some of this. I'm going to get a little lead on my finger. That's okay. It's actually graphite. It's not real lead. It's graphite. And so there's just lots of things that you can do with it this way, but I just wanted to show you some of that. Oh, and one more thing. Remember I talked about how I like to use erasers? Say I use this technique here again, and again, I'm going to hold my pencil like that. You can also hold it like this. I kind of like to hold it like that. I'm going to fill a big area in like this. You don't want to press too hard because you don't want to snap your lead or your graphite, but maybe enough that you can just fill in a big solid area like this. And I'm going to get my pencil with the eraser on it, and look what I can do with this. I can come in with my eraser and do some kind of fun lines like that. So I'm actually, what I'm doing here is I'm lifting the graphite or the lead. I'm going to use my brush here, but I can also just use my hand. But look what happened there. So I almost like highlighted or lifted. So there's another technique. We did this in our first video, but for some of you that haven't seen that, I thought I would do it again because it's kind of fun. There's a number of things that you can do with letters in the alphabet. And you can take an A and an H, okay? It says ah. And then it can also say aha, using the same letters. I think that's a palindrome, where it's the same from the start and same at the end. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to flip that A upside down like this, okay? And then I'm going to take the H and I'm going to put the H right underneath, okay? And then I'm going to do, at the end of a sentence, there's always a period, right? I'm going to take two of those. Oh my gosh, what's this beginning to look like? Maybe a third one. And then do you remember our Y trees? So I'm using, actually here's a Y. I guess I'm using a Y here. And we're going to do, now what has that turned into? Sort of looks like, it could be a deer or a reindeer. His horns are just growing like crazy. And then you could add some ears if you wanted. There's our leaf shape. Use that. And then what I can do, remember the technique we just did? Take the pencil like this, and I can fill in like this. Okay? Add a background. I always like whatever I draw to sort of have a place to be and not necessarily floating in space. Oh my gosh. And there's an O. And we're going to use those O's again. And what in the heck is happening here? I seem to like to do winter things this video. And I'm going to have it snowing like this. And I can come back with that eraser trick like this, and I can do some dots on my deer. So it kind of looks like a reindeer. They can be a little bit speckled like that, and brush it away. And there's using the alphabet that way. I'm going to flip this over. Oops, I already used that side. I'm going to start with another piece of paper, and we're going to try using another letter. You know what? Let's do a number this time. What number is this? Oh my gosh, it looks like an 8, right? And what's kind of fun about this is that I'm going to fill it in again. I'm going to use this technique again. I'm just going to use that nice sort of flat side of the pencil. I might even leave like a little white spot so it looks kind of shiny. I'm turning this into a spider or an arachnid. And arachnids have 2 body parts. 8 is made up of 2 parts, so that's really easy. And then in case you can't remember how many legs spiders have, 2 times 4 is 8. And so you can think they have 4 legs on each side. 8 reminds you that they have 8 legs. I could have put joints in those. And they have, I'll give these on, they have like a bunch of compound eyes up front. And mandibles or jaws. And so there's using 8 to make a spider. You can also, look at this number. What number is this? Oh my gosh, I think that's 3. And if I take that 3 and I add kind of an oval sort of loop underneath it and fill in the sides like that. There's 1, 2, 3 parts. So the spider has a head and an abdomen, and an insect has 3 body parts. You can remember that because insects have 6 legs. 2 times 3 is 6. So much fun to see what, kind of math there is in nature. And they have a head, a thorax or a chest, and then an abdomen. And instead of doing the sideways kind on that one, I'm going to use that other technique where we went like this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to press hard and then kind of let up a little bit towards the end. It kind of gives it, almost makes it look like it's shaded if you press hard and kind of pick up. Insects again have compound eyes. And insects also have antennas. And then insects can also have wings. So there's sort of a little bug lesson just from using a pencil. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, one other thing. I'm going to just do a little bit of the side like that. Like that. Take my finger and just blend it or smear it like that. And then sometimes insects can have like little veins. You can very lightly, another technique, just very lightly trace your pencil over that, over those wings and put some veins in there. You could look up insects, you could do dragonflies, you could do butterflies, you could look up different kinds of spiders and just kind of see what they look like. And even if you don't draw them, just learn about them. Okay, so today we did scribble trees. And again, I know we've done this on our very first video, but I felt this was an opportunity to improve it. So we did the scribble trees, a little snow scene. We did another different kind of scribble tree using wide trees, and they're a little bit more of a, we have summer going on here, and we've got winter going on here. And then we did, again, deciduous trees. And then we did evergreen trees, or as some of my students like to call them, mustache trees. And after that, we practiced some pencil techniques. And there's fancy names for all this, but I just thought, let's just do it. And then experiment with your pencil, have some fun, and maybe you'll come up with something that I haven't even thought of. And then, oh my gosh, we took the alphabet and turned it into a reindeer using some of our techniques. And we took some numbers and turned them into insects and arachnids or spiders, and learned about how to always make sure you know the number of legs and body parts that they have. I sure hope you enjoyed this, and I think I need, oh wait, I almost forgot something. Next time we're going to try, I always like reference material, so I went out and I got some car magazines, and I thought we could have some fun drawing cars, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there, okay? So I'm going to go get my puppy. Brisket came back again just to say hi. I woke her up from a nap, and right, Brisket, you're still tired? She spends a lot of time being very, very busy on our farm, and I think we need to go back and finish taking our nap. You guys take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.